about Valley One.
Yes, it's something that should have been got a long time ago. So no one seemed really interested much going back into them like the first Valley One fight. There's not much said at all about it.
So when you come down, so was it Clinton's? So you knew Clinton, Jack Clinton, and William Clinton, was it all?
Well, when I come down, I never really seen the Clintons much. Only that Barry, I think it was, he had the cars and the whole.
So you knew them in Newcastle, though?
Well, I didn't know them at all.
Okay.
The bloke that I come down with, he was a deputy from us. I worked with him in the Driftwood putting up there. I worked with him, but he was the deputy. He was the one that must have seen the advertisement. They wanted mine down here. So he got in touch with them and then he finished up getting the job. He was working through down the Camden, the Camden, the main office. Yeah, they all taking place in that area. That's where we first come in. Well, Jim Grant and Jungle Jim was the one we first. He was the one that had to take us down there, whether it was starting mine away and show us where we had to go and all that sort of thing.
How old were you then when you come down then?
Well, I was only 22
yeah,
when I first came down here. You know, 21st up there before I come down here.
So he took you down to Nedai Bulli and across to the valley, or?
No, they never took us Nedai.
Straight to Valley One?
We went straight to where we started. When we first came down, they had a range before we come down. Clinton's, well, there was probably Bush in there that was doing it, but they had everything arranged for our accommodation, everything before we come down here. They had us arranged to go to Spring Corner there.
So everything was, so the dozer track was put in and they cleared the pad at the top of the...
Well, when we first come down here, yeah, well, what they done with the three of us, they give us an old Jeep, and that was our use for a transport. And they took us up and showed us where we was to start the mine, and then there wasn't one surveyor at all. They just pointing different things out. We could just start and shove in. Yeah.
That was it.
And nothing spirit level or that, just cups of water or whatever you had to use for spirit level and all that. It was just all prehistoric sort of stuff.
Yeah.
All the tools and everything, all the old drills and all that rubbish out too. Chainsaws, two-man chainsaws, I've never seen one since.
Two-man chainsaw?
Yeah, the big long bar thing on it was the two. And that's what we had for when we used to go down and cut around and timber all it. And anything we used, there was nothing supplied. There no timber, nothing supplied from anywhere else. Anything we started shoving the pit with us, what we took, got out of the bush.
So basically they said, it's cleared, there's the same, we want you to start mining.
We used to use the Jeep too sometimes, get the sneaking the timber, and that's sometimes with that D7, we used to take it down and get that covered with that. But,
and that was October 1956?
Yeah, October 56, that's when we come there. That's when three of us come there in the summer and joined it. And we went back home every weekend.
Oh, so you went back up to Newcastle, yeah, okay. So Monday to Friday?
Well, we used to be able to work our own times in them days. But I can say we could start on Friday or something, when we were going back, that we could work some out and we'd just get away early and all this.
So basically you started the adit, formed it up, was it timber or steel as you went in?
Well, you had no such thing as steel. This is all timber.
It was all timber.
You didn't have lids and wedges like you got now. It was all pre-cut and made. But, make or shape all that stuff. So you normally had to have a good axe all the time to make a shape on that lids and wedges.
So how far in did you have to get before the roof got to?
Well, the roof was pretty good as far as that's concerned. Although it had to apply probably about 18-inch. When we got in, when you were working the machine sort of thing, they had to apply there about 18 inches or something. And just hanging there all the time. And when you're taking the coal out from underneath, that just sagged down.
Yeah, okay.
So you operate and I loaded there for a while. You had you have one hand on the roof, you could feel it moving, and you'd operate. So, good. It's just part of the work. You just got used to doing that. Yeah. When you're shooting, if you haven't got the multiple one that you didn't, sometimes the shot wouldn't go off. And all you see, when you're there, then you see the wires and that you'd know that hadn't gone off.
Yeah, hopefully it didn't go off.
Well, we didn't have any trouble because we knew what was going on all the time. We used to be able to get out. A lot of people in the latter years, some of them were starting to put a shot in behind and shoot them off. There's people getting actually shot in them.
What was the ventilation?
Well, the first ventilation was the 44-gallon drum with a fire out the front.
44-gallon drum vent, as like a vent line coming in?
You didn't need it. Well, that's when you first started. You had the drum going and you had the fire going. That was pulling that air out, the stale air out. There's no Bradis when it used to at that point. We used Bradis later when we got into that wouldn't work. until we got the power. And I just can't think what time was actually got the power. We had to drive that other shaft or tunnel, or the ventilation tunnel, or the ventilation tunnel virtually was the Prospect tunnel really started and where that coal was. That's where someone else will be mucking around with the prospects. It's only a small tunnel top just for a man. They knew what the coal was like before we even started.
So it was a prospecting tunnel?
Well, that Prospect tunnel was well away from where we went into it. That Prospect tunnel was actually where the ventilation finished up when we got going properly. We had that big fan in there stuck in there around, you know.
Oh, so you actually went back into the prospecting tunnel and what, you widened that out?
We used that, yeah. We started that Prospect tunnel and we opened right out.
Yeah.
Put the big fan in.
Yeah, that's interesting. So someone had already done that tunnel before you got there then?
Oh, well, it might have been only 6 or 8 feet or something. It wasn't very long. Just to get onto the scene. Right?
So when you drove in, the prospecting tunnel was on the left-hand side or the right-hand side?
Left-hand side.
Left-hand side.
It was like a bit of a ridge in a sense. If you went around further with a Prospect tunnel, you went down and around the bend type thing when you on the ridge of a mountain. There was a spring there, and that's where it was getting us our water for a while.
Wow.
When I finished up, I put a pump on that.
When
we got the power, I pump in there to get our water from that, off that pump. You know?
And then fill the little shower, the little tank.
Well, mainly for the pit itself. Well, we didn't have any water for putting on the coal or anything. There was enough dust and all that sort of stuff. On them days, they didn't have any water on the machines. What they used to have to do is after the cutter had been down, that place had been shot, then you hose it down a bit, you know. It's only damp on the top of the thing when you get underneath, you got all the dust.
It's interesting. So by that time, so it was still just the three of us, and then obviously they started to get more blokes as you started to get further in. And when did it ramp up?
Worked in stages. When you get to a certain thing, you could take another bloke on. That time, a while before we got to that point, and well, the ones that they did finish up, it was all Oklahoma and stuff, you know, Maitland, Greta, and that sort of thing. None of the locals, probably. You know. Later on, Natai Bullock wouldn't have been going too well, and in the Natai, we got 2 or 3 blokes coming from there. One of them, Johnny Fleming, and a couple of others come from Natai Bullock. Later on again, it got to the stage that our bathroom wasn't any good. We actually got, well, only had a tin shed to start with, and then we got that old bathroom, I think it was up Lithgow, one of those mines that had it up there. And that was got a bit of a jag of that, and then we were forcing the company to build a new bath. Anyhow, we had the books closed and stopping anyone coming in. But anyhow, it got to the point that Natai Bullock, and then there was one cable out a few blokes. And what they'd done there, like we was out our bush, we didn't want any new ones to start on. They started to do something about and build our bath. Anyhow, at that point, Natai Bullock then were staying with the union officials from down the coast. They were more threatened that we had to take them bloke from there over there, and otherwise they're going to kick us out too.
Really? So, because you're still non-union?
The union had started. We had to pay our union dues into the Natai
Bullock Lodge. Who was the mine manager for the mine then? Was it?
When we started, Busher was our man. And Fred Elsley was the deputy there. He was the one supposed to be doing all the shop and all that sort of stuff. But Bushy was the one that actually covered for everything. Even when we had transport trouble, Bushy's wife used to cart us different places with her cart.
So what was the first machine?
The old 14B loader, but that old loader, the Natai Bullock, come from Natai Bullock, and the same was at that time, Natai Bullock wouldn't operate because they reckoned it was dangerous because it was. On the tracks, you had that one lever that used to control the loader on the traction side of it. But it didn't know it worked that well. It would go anywhere. And the old cutter was another one we got, the old Samson cutter on it. But anyhow, they'd come from another mine or something.
So with the Samson cutters, you just basically cut the tops and bottoms, and how did that?
Well, the cutter we had, when you just cut them, it might be a foot off the bottom of the floor. Before you shot it, you used to do put the cutter bar in and cut that, and then you drill your hole, and then you just shoot it.
And then load it out.
Well, load it out, load it.
And that was into battery cars back then?
Well, there were battery cars. The first cars we had battery cars. Yeah. They went straight through the mountain at one stage, and the thief was looking for lookout where they would have come out.
Yeah,
they did come out.
But was it on purpose, or
well,
surveying was not?
No, it was purposely done that way. soon as we got in, not they weren't in all that far. That coal wasn't much good at all. But what they was doing with that, they was mixing it with Nanai Bulli coal.
Yeah, that was so they blended. Yeah, okay. So what are some of your best memories or worst memories of the mines?
Oh, I never had much trouble in the mines, but accident-wise, I never had trouble. The water used to build up above. It'd come down in a wall. And that's when that one bloke was washed off the vehicle. His vehicle was on the bridge, broke down or something, but anyhow, he might have been pulled up the water. But his vehicle was on the bridge when that water came down and took the vehicle down straight to the old Lanai Bridge. We stopped coming across that when the water was up on the second step of the bus, I think it was, before we stopped going back and forth.
Yeah, okay. So that was as they were flooding the dam?
That's when the dam was coming up.
Yeah, right. Second step of the bus, that's it, no more boys.
The night there was a big fire on down the valley around the mine, that was the night of Dovedale Workers Club. And we were up at the club, and they told us there's fires down there. We didn't take much notice. Anyhow, we found out what the extent it was, because my tent and the others, about three of the tents, and there were a couple of caravans there. But when the new cars and shuttle cars came in, they were in wooden crates. And those wooden crates side broke down, and made the floor be tent. And you can imagine how they were all the sorts of camp ovens and pressure cookers and everything just melted down. There was nothing, even the guns was melted down. And the beds and everything there was not the clothing and everything, there's nothing that you could, only coins or something like that.
So that was over on the Nanai Bulli side, or you were staying on the valley side there?
That's when the tents were not far down from my washing there. The bathroom, which is...
You basically lived at the mine?
Well, it was right at the mine. That's what I think Spag Clinton's probably come up with the idea, but anyhow, that's what, because they was paying for us to be at the Moorlands, you know?
Yeah.
They paid all their expenses, and they come up with a suggestion, you know, put the market tents up there, and they give us tents and all this sort of stuff. That's what took place.
Yeah, well.